Welcome into this week's Coyote Net Report. I'm here with Coach Leanne Williamson. And Coach, it's been a couple weeks since we last spoke, and the Coyotes have reached the halfway point in the Summer League schedule. Currently sitting at 7-2, sitting in a third place position in the conference. Just sum up the first 9 league matches if you can.
Yeah, I think first, the Summit League is definitely, at a little bit of a higher level this year, just across the board. I think obviously there's a good group right now at the top, but I think even those middle and bottom teams that are there right now, I think can still knock off anybody. So it's been a fun year so far, being able to play such high level competition. And I think for us, it's just all about learning. It's continuing to obviously find what we do well and make sure that we continue to improve on that, and then see those weaknesses. And every team approaches how you play against different people differently. So it's been interesting and good for us to see how other people are going to play us and things that they're going to try to take advantage of. And I think obviously going back to the drawing board then each week to try to get a little bit better. With those 2 midweek matches, I do think that first half of conference was difficult. Between the travel portion, but even if you take out the travel portion, it took away from some of the days that we had to train. So there were actually like a week or two where we felt like we couldn't really go full at times with practice because we did need to be prepared for games in terms of being physically prepared. So there were some different challenges with that. So I think even some of the changes that we had to make, I don't want to say were just mental, but we had to be able to be a little bit more engaged, a little bit more intentful with what we were doing with our mindset so that we could make some of those physical changes on the court, which created some different challenges for ourselves. But, I think in the end right now, with where we're at, I feel good about the fact that we have been able to come away with obviously a good amount of wins, and then even through both of our losses, I think we've learned a lot about ourselves, and being able to beat some of those top teams on the road is difficult in any year in the Summit League, but I do think this year is probably even more true just because of the fact that I think our league is a little bit of a higher level. So looking forward to the second half.
And the end stretch of the first half began at the Sanford Pentagon. Just looking back, what an atmosphere for that match with St. Thomas. What was it like for the coaches and players to witness and be a part of that huge crowd?
Yeah, the Pentagon's become a great tradition for us, I think, at this point in time of being able to go up for the last couple of years, other than last year with COVID. And I do think that each time, we've been able to see just how much support there is in Sioux Falls and the surrounding areas. And I think what a great opportunity to bring, a high level of volleyball to that area and get in front of some of our different fans. And the atmosphere is incredible. I think we learned that last year with the Summit League tournament. And then obviously being able to have more of that normal crowd number, it just added to the environment. So looking forward to obviously being able to continue that and make that a good place for us to play. But I know our players love playing up there. It's been a good experience for them. They're obviously always very excited to see the amount of support that there is for this program. And it was just another example of that.
A tough road trip to end the first rotation in league play, having to go to Omaha and then to Denver. Obviously, the teams in the 1 and 2 spot in the conference. But what a gritty 5-set win at Omaha, coming back and winning sets 4 and 5. What stood out about that?
Yeah, I think the first thing that stood out was how good at defense we were. And I think that people that have watched us play, that was something that we've struggled with a little bit. And it's never been a lack of talent. It's never been a lack of skill. But I just think our team really rose to the occasion in that and just said, hey, we've got to play to our potential today defensively to give ourselves a chance. And Omaha's a very, very, very good defensive team. So for us to actually have more digs than they did on the night and to be able to give ourselves those opportunities to take multiple swings and rallies against a very good team like that, I think was good for us to see. And I think it started to show, I don't want to say started, but it showed us kind of more so what our potential was. And I think at times we weren't as clean offensively, so we had to rely on our defensive efforts. And that was a little bit of a switch for us. Going into the season, we've been able to use our offense in a lot more situations. And I think this was kind of that opposite, but it was good for us to see that we could do that. And obviously winning in 5 sets on the road is really hard, let alone, in 3 or 4. So I think it was the gritty word is probably exactly what it was, is just we had to fight, we had to battle, we had to find ways, make plays, and it wasn't always easy, but it was good for us to see us rise to that occasion.
And a tough end of the road trip, a long flight to Denver, and just just a tough end of the match after controlling the first 2 sets. What did we learn about that match, about the team?
Again, both ourselves and Denver, two very good teams that are able to, I think, put some pressure from the service line. And those first 2 sets where we were more so in control, we won the serve and pass game. And then those next couple, I think it kind of switched a little bit. We lost our ability to get them out of system as efficiently, and we were out of system a little bit more often, and they put the pressure on from the service line, and I think made it a little bit harder, or a lot harder on us offensively, but then also defensively. So I think the serve and pass game switch, which was probably the biggest thing that I noticed, but that's what you're going to see against 2 really good teams. So, even though we were disappointed walking away, I still felt like we could take a lot from that match of things that we did well, things that we struggled with, and there were some key plays that we just didn't make in the 3, 4, and 5 sets that we were making in the first and second. So again, being able to walk away and learn from those losses are really, really important, and I think our team has done that this week, but looking forward to obviously that next opportunity to compete again and see what changes we've been able to make.
And a little bit of a difference in the first half, second half, schedule-wise. Second half, not as many midweek games on our schedule. And the second half begins on Friday. Showdown series in Brookings. Do the coaches and team put an added emphasis on the rivalry, knowing that there's a point on the line for the Showdown series?
I think the one thing that I will say is just going through this, every year we've talked about each match being the most important match. And, our goal every single time that we have the opportunity to play is to go 1-0. So I don't think that there's necessarily an added emphasis to win. You always want to win. Our team is competitive. So I don't want to say we're going about it like business as usual, because we understand what this rivalry is. And if anything, I think it's fun. It's something that people want to be a part of. And we're looking forward to, obviously, I think we're always looking forward to the rivalry games, but, being able to be up there, I believe it's their Hobo Days, so there should be a good crowd there, and, they've been playing well this year, so I'm expecting a tough match, and, but obviously in the end, every game we want to win, so I don't want to say there's an added emphasis, but, at the same time, I think we all know what this means for, our university, our community, and just Coyote fans in general.
And lastly, we look at the standings. You see yourself in third place, but you also see the teams around you, the Omaha, the Denver, the Oral Roberts, Kansas City, are all coming to Vermilion in the second half of the season.
Yeah, I do think that this schedule, I think in some ways was good, and some ways it was hard, but I think being able to go on the road and, like I said, actually not even play our best volleyball at times, but still find ways to win 2 of those 4 top matches on the road was really important. And, we've always talked about usually the people that win in the league are the ones that win at home and that are able to knock off a couple on the road. So, and I think we've been able to do that overall so far in this first half. But now, obviously, with those, again, standing-wise, those top 4 teams coming into the SCSC, I think it definitely gives us a little advantage. I think being able to play in front of our fans, we know how much energy and excitement our fan base can provide as well. So looking forward to that, and being able to have a little bit more of a normal schedule here without those midweek matches, I think sets itself up for a good ending, to the second half of the conference. But, so much of it obviously continues to go, just taking it one day at a time, making sure that we're the best version of ourselves on that given day, whether it's a practice, whether it's a game, whether it's an off day, and making sure that we're not looking ahead and that we're not looking behind. We've got to make sure that we stay in the present. And, that's something that we're really trying to buy into right now.
And obviously the present is the match with South Dakota State on Friday in Brookings, and looking ahead just quickly to Oral Roberts and Kansas City coming in next week. What an incentive for fans to come out and see the top 4 teams in the league here in Vermilion.
Yeah, I think our fans are coming out regardless, but I do think that just with us being able to play that first half of conference and fans really being able to see where people stand in the conference right now, I think there's going to be some great volleyball being played in Vermilion, and we're looking forward to, like I said, playing in front of our fans. I rave about them all the time. The Coyote Crazies have been such a great addition in the last few years, and something that we're really excited, people that we're very excited to play for. So come on out and watch.
You've been listening to the Coyote Net Report with Coach Leanne Williamson.